armies draw near, and to my prayer incline, in arts gymnastic and in fraud divine.
Dire weapon of the tongue which men revere, be present, Hermes, and thyself plant here.
Welcome to Third Eye Bind, episode 57, Love and Light. I've been watching all the episodes of Jersey Shore again.
Oh.
Ronnie.
Makes me want Ugg boots real bad.
So good. I still have a pair.
I love Ugg boots.
Me too.
I don't give a shit
Yeah.
who says they're whatever. I want them every time I see someone wearing them.
They're
I'm
the
like,
best.
that's it. That's Cali girl shit right there.
Brian buys us all a new pair every year for
Brian,
Christmas.
buy me a pair.
Yeah. You want this? We all get the same color.
I want to be a part of the
We all
color
have
scheme.
chestnut minis.
Oh, like the mini platform ones.
They're so cute. We wear them at the same time.
I have an old pair of regular ones that have been in the
Yeah.
They can go in the ocean and they're fine.
Yeah.
Like for real.
It's
I thought it
wild.
was like a joke because I didn't actually like go surfing or anything.
Like a surfer invented them.
I just wore them, but
Yeah.
I really do need. Because it's like I keep telling myself it's gonna get warmer soon. You don't need any of these wintry boots, but then it keeps raining, and I'm like, where do I live? Seattle.
I love the Uggs. I end up wearing them way more than I thought I would. I love them for like taking the kids to school in the morning when it's cold. They're the best.
I need a new pair. Mm-hmm. Costco.
10
Maybe
out of
I'll
10.
hit up
Highly
Costco.
recommend. Uggs were like my big ticket item when I worked at the shoe store too. I fucking loved when people came in for Uggs. Like, yeah, you want the protectant spray too and the Ugg brush?
Ooh, an Ugg brush.
Add it on. Oh yeah, because they're suede. You need to have a little brush.
Interesting. Now making me want a suede brush. You might upselling me on those Uggs.
I'm here to upsell.
Wow. I mean, what else are we here for if we're not here to upsell? Truly. Well, hi, I'm Loretta.
I'm Caitlin.
And welcome to Third Eye Bind. Forgot we were like...
We forgot we were here.
I was like, oh, wait, I think Mike's
I'm
recording.
going to be honest. We forgot we were here.
Yeah, we did. But we're here.
We're here for you.
We're here for you. And how you can be here for us before we start is to please like, subscribe, tell your fellow friends about this podcast because that's how we survive and thrive in this dire late stage capitalism.
Yes, please like, subscribe, comment, share, rate. And if you really love us, you can support us and help us keep the literal lights on by becoming a Patreon at patreon.com/thirdeyebind.
Yes. Yes.
What are we talking about this week?
Fucking love and light. We're talking about love and light.
Love and light,
Because
bitches.
not enough can be said about it, and we talk about it a lot periodically in probably every episode of this show, and we just felt like we needed to devote an entire episode to this concept.
Yeah.
This very problematic concept.
Because why not?
It's not going away, and I'm seeing it more, and
Really?
yeah.
You're seeing it more.
I am. It's weird.
Okay. I
What
pulled
is
the
it?
Two of Pentacles.
Oh.
She works hard for the money.
They are working hard for their money, the
They
people that are
working
perpetuating
hard
this.
for their money. The people who peddle the love and
Honestly.
light platform are working hard for the
Ooh.
money, honey. So you better
That's really
use your
self-explanatory.
discernment. Use your discernment. And then also when it comes to the Two of Pentacles is this card is an invitation for us to seek balance, right? Like there can be wisdom in many different types of approaches to spirituality, but it's on us, the individuals, to use our discernment. That should be a drinking game.
TM.
Every time we say discernment, if you are over the age of 21, drink
You
a
can
shot.
drink. That's a new thing we just started right now.
We just started it right now. I got the
shot,
idea
a whole shot?
from Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen.
Maybe a sip of alcohol. If I took one shot, I would die.
Done. That would be the whole thing.
So maybe a sip of a shot.
A little sippy. grab your bubbly waters. Don't drive home.
Don't do anything.
Two of Pentacles invites us to use our discernment and to seek balance in these different concepts so that they are supportive and realistic rather than like, I don't know what the word even is, like whitewashing.
Yeah.
Bypassing, I think is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So that we're not bypassing really important things that might be uncomfortable.
Yeah. It is whitewashing and bypassing. It's just such a fake, phony term at this point to me that I don't even know how to digest it. It's not what witchcraft or magic is about, like at all. Like it's a problem for me because it's permeating the wellness industry, which is not witchcraft, but it's adjacent in these like spiritual MLM. I've seen it. Like it's just the commodification of spirituality is sort of perpetuated by this concept of love and light because it's love and light. It's everything good. And it's thoughts and prayers. It's the same exact thing. It's Christianity with a crystal collection. 100%. That's what love and light is. And that's okay. But why are we calling it something when we should just maybe call it what it is?
Be for real.
Call it what it is. It's Christianity trying to convert and permeate again into magical spaces.
Absolutely.
And it's been done before. And I do think it's a subconscious way for it to trickle in and to convert people. And it's fucking working. It's working. And it makes me sick. Because this has happened through the beginning of time, you know, and it's bypassing and whitewashing what actual witchcraft and magic has always been about. And it's hard to watch. There's people that I know and I know of that practice magic for whatever reason they do. I don't know these people. And they end up like, it's the Kat Von D effect. They end up converting drastically to either Christianity or Catholicism and denouncing anything that's magic, herbal, spirituality, occult, anything as demonic. And it's just the same rhetoric we've heard for millennia. And it's just like, it's shocking to me, but I see a lot of people doing that. Like, I can't really explain why. Maybe they weren't in the magical spaces they were in for the right reasons, which is why I bring up the commodification factor, because it's trendy, because it's whatever. Like, do you feel that in your soul? Or are you just doing it for business, which fine, but like, I just think there's an authenticity to like actually being a magical practitioner that is required to like actually be one. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Like I don't know. What do you think?
I think a few things. I absolutely agree that it's like the woo-woo thoughts and prayers.
Yeah.
Oh, thoughts and prayers. Love and light. But something that you mentioned is that it kind of goes against what spirituality and magic are truly about, which is embracing the hard shit and working through it. Recognizing that no matter how good of a person you are, there's some fucked up shit about you. There's some fucked up shit about me. There's some fucked up shit about all of us.
Yeah.
And I think true spirituality is about recognizing those things within ourselves and figuring out, okay, but what do I do about it? How do I transform this into something that I can work with that aligns with who I want to be in this world? How do I release this if that's the path that we're going? What am I missing that can help me heal this part of myself? And when it comes to these love and light style practitioners, it's really about bypassing those types of hard conversations. And I think people are drawn to those types of practitioners because they don't feel good. And they want an easy way to feel better.
Yeah.
You know, you don't feel good, you are going through something hard, and it's so much easier to lean into something that's telling you everything is good.
Yeah.
Everything is fine. Vibrate higher.
You just have to vibrate higher.
Fine. Yeah. Just ignore everything that feels uncomfortable. And it's all fine. And that's just not how we create sustainable change within ourselves and within the world around us. And I don't necessarily fault people who fall for it.
Right.
Because we're all just humans. It's the same with, like, I don't fault people who fall for cults because we're all vulnerable humans looking for answers. That's been the case since the dawn of time. But I do fault the practitioners a bit who peddle this,
absolutely,
like, minutia, who peddle this, like, bogus. It's snake oil.
It is snake oil.
It's snake oil because it's never going to carry you. It's never going to help you really live a life that is authentic and aligned. And I think for some people, that's okay.
Well, that's why people are, be a Christian.
I think, like, especially for people who don't experience marginalization or don't experience oppression, seeing somebody like that who's like, no, everything's fine if you just believe it's fine. They're like, yeah, totally. And it's because they don't have to worry about systemic oppression, systemic racism, social racism, social oppression. So like, there's nothing for them. There's nothing to see here. So you're right. If I do vibrate higher, everything is totally fine. But then that means that the people who have the power to change the things that aren't so great about this world just won't.
They won't.
They're refusing to acknowledge it even exists.
Yeah. Well said.
And that sucks.
What is that? That's complicity. And it's just, you're complicit in...
You're complacent.
Complacent,
Yes.
All the whatevers. Like, it's... It's just... Also, like... If you're not feeling good, magic and witchcraft have helped me at least, because they empower the self. Ultimately, like, that's sort of what it boils down to for me, is like empowerment of you and yourself. And that could be that you can get through these changes, that you have the power to do things. But to tell someone like, you just have to vibrate higher, is telling them they're not enough as they are. You're telling somebody, you just hit your vibrations just off. It's not like, it's bypassing, and it's like deeply putting somebody down, saying, I am better than you because I vibrate up here. But
you're just broken.
Those fucking people that say that, though, they're the broken ones. Because they can't even recognize that what they're doing is what they're doing.
Charlatans.
Like, it's... By saying, like, I vibrate, I'm above you in a vibrational way, is like the most broken shit I can hear anyone say.
Like,
I'm
you just
like,
don't get it because you're not on the same vibration,
wavelength
not
as
the same
me.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what delusional pill did you swallow to think
delusion.
that is? And then that's fine. Then, you know what, love and light, goopy, whatever. People, they're doing Reiki from, they're white. They're doing stupid white people shit. Got it. But, like, when those people then try to put that on witchcraft, that's where I get really pissed off. Because they can do that.
What have you been seeing lately?
Just a lot of bypassing of, like, not only what's going on in the world, but just... It's subtle. It's not really a specific thing I can point out. It's just No, it is a specific thing. It's bypassing, but it's like not saying love and light ultimately, but it's like I can see it leaning, and I can see the silence and the complicity and the complacency, and I'm like, okay, well, it makes me second guess people. Honestly, I'm being honest right now. Like, it makes me second guess myself. Went through that. Okay, that's where I'm at. I'm straight. Where am I? Like, it makes me not try. Like, I'm like, wait, are we not defining this the same way? And that scares the shit out of me because I don't know. It's just sad. And I don't, it's hard to untangle because I've also seen a lot of non-witchy spiritual, first of all, like, we've talked about this, like calling ourselves witches is a choice and a not a choice. Spiritual practitioner, whatever. Magic, people that practice magic is one thing. A lot of the love and light people exist more in like the wellness, yoga, appropriating the yoga and doing all this LA. It's very like, that's sort of where that exists mostly. But there is definitely a crossover because witchcraft is popular now and people want to. But I also see it in like my non-magical people, like my non-magical friends, like following like people with like millions of followers using what's happening. There's a guy, I forgot his stupid name, but he has like a PhD of whatever, and he's got like millions of followers, and he posts, a lot of like self-help.
Yeah.
A lot of like all this stuff. And he wrote a post saying how, like protesting extreme reactions to what's happening is cult-like behavior. And I was like, oh, no. And then I saw that some people I know were following this dude. And I was like, white guy, of course. And I was like, no, what?
That's so wild to me. Refusing to accept that a genocide is happening is cult-like behavior.
Yeah.
Like actively taking a stand against like an entire indigenous
like
people
that's extremism.
being wiped off the earth.
That's extreme. It's just as bad as alt-right.
Not bombing. That's not extreme.
That's not extreme.
Not bombing kids.
But it's the same rhetoric as like anything extreme. Extremism is anarchy. Like, he didn't say anarchy, but like it's a negative thing. But it's like,
it's a negative vibration.
It's a negative vibration.
Not
it's
a
like
negative
it's not
vibration.
like, well, then what's the point of living?
Right.
If you're just gonna like
roll over.
But that's what white people do.
Right.
That's what we do. Is just, I know because I am one. Like it's very easy to point fingers and say things like that when you're
None of it
not
affects
the
you.
person. Like you can go to sleep at night and just wake up and like have so much privilege in your life that you don't ever have to worry about that. And then it's just, that rhetoric is easy to follow, like you said, like when you're just someone who doesn't have to deal with the atrocities of life to that level. And I don't understand how having empathy is extremism and is not. I don't know how somebody could dare say that, like that it's cult-like. What? That's twisty though, and that's where people get caught because this dude is saying cult-like. He's bypassing all of these things and trying to like program people to think that non-reactivity is the goal or the scary.
That's why, like, I'm not a pacifist.
No,
I am not a pacifist.
That's what it is.
Like, I am not interested in starting a fight. Like Aoife says, I have to do things diplomatically unless I have to protect myself or protect mine. And I just think that people who insist that like the only way to inspire revolution is through peaceful action are the ones who are profiting the most from the lack of action on behalf of like the oppressed. And It's like how the scam of like Martin Luther King Jr. in the United States, how we teach only that like he only believed in nonviolence, and because of Martin Luther King's nonviolence, the civil rights movement happened. And it's like that's not the whole fucking truth. Martin Luther King was one man, and if you looked at all of his speeches instead of just one, you would see that truth. And it's completely erasing all of the different Black radicals who did have to fucking fight.
What do we learn about the Black Panthers?
Yes.
That they were extreme and dangerous and scary.
Yes.
It's like, no, they had their shit together.
By the way, they did community care. We have free lunches in schools because of the Black Panthers.
I did not know that.
Yes.
Well, there you go.
It's a fact. And like, I agree. I feel like just as Christianity is a tool to like make us docile.
Yeah.
Love and light spirituality has that same effect as a tool. It makes us like not respond, not react, not get enraged for fear of throwing off our vibration when like we should be fucking mad.
Yeah. Like Christianity is like, oh, this whole higher power will forgive you and all this shit. And it's like, you don't have accountability.
Right.
And in love and light, there's no accountability. There's just love and light.
Right.
Where does that work come in? It doesn't. It's just...
There's no work.
Or it's like the work is through more love and light. It's like, but you can't... You have to be, and it's just... There's variations of this in levels, but I just don't get it. And when that shit starts to go into magical spaces and witchcraft spaces... which I have seen not as much, of course, as like the yogic whatever, but like that really pisses me off because that's not what that is. Full stop, not. I don't really care what anybody has to say. Like, that's not it. It's not that. And it's a sneaky way for that to get, and it's taking people it's converting people.
Yeah. It reminds me...
Like Kat Von D?
Like Kat Von D. Who was,
I don't know.
by
I
the
actually
way,
don't know her
Kat
story.
Von D was questionable from the start.
Story,
Kat Von D's been shacking up with white supremacists for a long time. Bless her. Also, like... This is like a Latin American thing, but like her dad's Argentinian, and if you know, like after the
I don't know, tell me.
Okay, so after World War II, a lot of the Nazi generals and other higher ups, they escaped and found safe haven in Argentina. And so there's a huge community of the descendants of Nazis who grew up with that same ideology. And so like most like other Latinos are like, oh, they're Argentinian, be careful. That's the thing. And I'm not saying not all Argentinians, for sure. Many
hashtag not all
Argentinians, but there's like
there's something
Von D, like what's that?
Von. That's true.
It's curious.
Oh wow. Okay.
But it's very much that like spirituality to alt-right pipeline.
Yes.
It is giving MLM in a big way. And also it reminds me of this thing that got named. I'm sure it had been around longer, but we gave it a name around 2020. Or maybe it was around 2016 when Trump was first running. I can't remember. Somewhere in the zeitgeist. We called it pastel alt-right. Pastel alt-right. And it was all of these beautifully styled, wellness-looking posts, very much geared towards like women and femmes and all in really pretty pastel colors. And they were all these very inspiring love and light messages. But if you just read a little bit deeper, if you look in between the lines just a little bit, you can see that it is this like bait to draw people into like white supremacist ideology. It's wild. I think love and light is absolutely pastel QAnon. That's what they called it. Oh, pastel QAnon. I feel like love and light is absolutely pastel QAnon.
It is QAnon.
Yeah.
Pastel QAnon. Wow. Yeah. There's so many different ways that it gets, and that mostly it's like and my friend who like I saw, she asked me about it. She was like, what did you mean by that? And I explained it, and she's like, oh, okay. And I was like, people don't even notice that they're consuming this type of content because all we do now is consume content. And that wasn't the case when I was growing up, when you were growing up, and it was different. But it's it's a whole thing. It's a whole agenda. Like it's creepy.
It is creepy. It is creepy.
And it just further demonizes witchcraft and magic and black and brown people. Like love and light. Okay. Like it's low-key racist. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it's coded racism.
It is coded racism because when you think about like neo-paganism and like, I know somebody's gonna be pissed, but like Wicca and those types of practices, there's a difference between light magic and dark magic. Yeah. And neo-paganism and Wicca is light magic. We only deal with what's of the light.
The rule of three.
And dark magic, though they wouldn't name it, always in description sounds a lot like folk practices, folk spirituality, folk magic of marginalized people.
100%. Very well said.
So it's like, say it like Ariana Grande, say it with your chest.
Say it with your chest.
Yes, and but like say it with your chest. What you're really saying is our little made up white people magic is higher than your black and brown people magic. That's bad.
Patriarchally based
do it.
Magic.
Right?
White people magic. We've talked about, this is not a new concept for us.
They're all invented by men. Gardner. What's the other one? Crowley. Like,
I'm uninterested in that.
Dudes who are looking for a way
to have.
That's what I was just gonna say. Dudes who are looking for a way to f bitches.
For real.
Yeah, and have like power over them, so they couldn't say no. Nasty. Gross.
Fairy orgies. There's an agenda to it that doesn't feel right.
Yes.
And that's sort of where the connectivity exists between this love and light rhetoric, the white magic rhetoric. They are best friends. They are friends. It is insidious. And it's the same thing to me, being like white magic only. Like, first of all, whites only? Secondly,
you sure
what?
about that?
That's not magic. If it's white magic only, it's not magic.
No.
It's not.
It's just
love
like
and light.
A KKK meeting without the hoods.
Dude.
Or maybe with, I don't know.
That's the one thing I've taken away from working on this show with you is that, like, definitively that is the truth. Like, Don't they call the leader of the KKK the Grand Wizard? Ew, really?
I think so.
That's both fun and disturbing.
So, like, there you have it.
How festive.
You can love your light your way up to being the Grand Wizard. Have mercy. Have mercy.
You have to be so careful.
Yeah.
Careful the books you consume, who you listen to.
The TikToks you watch.
I just have no interest in that. And a lot of them are white people.
Yeah. And I feel like...
Be careful.
They're very crafty. They're very sneaky about the way they draw it in, right? Because first, they usually present with like, oh, this is all about holistic living, or this is all about spiritual living. This is all about feeling better and living better. And then it becomes like, oh, like we're anti-vax because the government like is putting tracking devices inside of the COVID vaccines, and then
we don't wear sunscreen because the sun's actually good for you.
The sun is actually good for you. Like, good luck with melanoma. Yeah. And then it becomes like blatant, like anti-blackness,
then it becomes
like homophobia, transphobia. Like,
these extreme reactions to what's happening in Palestine are cult-like.
You're vibrating so low.
That's a low vibration. No, literally.
Yeah.
What?
What do you mean?
Anarchy is energy.
How are you not
powerful
outraged?
energy. Energy is magic. What the are you talking about?
What the are you talking about? And it's because they want to keep us quiet.
They want to live in a world where nothing changes for them. And if you keep people in the neutrality middle, it won't. It's like trad wives. Like, what the fuck is that?
Dude, that trend
What?
is creeping me
That is
out.
everything my mother taught me not to be.
And like,
And she was a housewife.
being taken care of sounds kind of nice. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Working is hard, but also like
It's so coded. It's coded.
It's coded. It's
coded.
creepy coded
It's
because
somehow coded.
What were those housewives' lives like? They were full of like speed all day long so you could get the housework done.
Xanax at night.
Barbiturates all night long so you could go to sleep and then be like assaulted by your husband while
Yeah.
you're like yacked out on the barbiturates. You're like
I just
3
don't-
clonopins deep.
There's nothing wrong with wanting to be taken care of, but like in this 1950s.
I love that for you. You should be taken care of.
You can have a retro style, sure.
Totally, but not retro values.
But not retro values. And that's where it's just like, okay, but it's just weird to me to like, yeah, you can be like rockabilly and also enjoy being a housewife. My mom chose to raise us and be a housewife. But putting them together and then glorifying it, and then it's just really weird. And to glorify a time when like no one had rights but white people is super weird to me, where I couldn't be married to my husband.
Yeah.
It's just a little weird.
Like my grandma didn't have a bank account until the 70s.
Yeah, like, could I vote? I don't know. Like, it's just not enough time have passed.
Not the good old days.
It's not the good old days
Not
for
the
who?
good old
The good old
days.
days for who?
Exactly.
And, you know, it's...
It's creepy, and it's it
different.
draws people in the same way like cults draw them in.
Yeah.
And I would argue that these are cults too. These love and lighters are cults too,
like
because
Stepford Wives.
it preys on you when you're vulnerable.
Yeah.
And you're just searching for something to give you answers, to help you feel better, to help you feel different than you feel right now.
Well, join our 12-step Love and Light program where you can ascend to a 5D level.
like a star seed.
And then there's all that, which is all connected.
It's all connected.
It's white supremacy fairy dust.
We just keep repackaging it for whatever the audience is hungry for at the time.
Yeah. I really at the core of all this is why I call out white people, because I am one and I can and I should, first of all. Like, because it's just, that's the problem, is white supremacy. It boils down to like, can we not? Can we just not? Can we just like be there for people and like address these things and like, but no, we can't do that. No. We can't. Can we be witches and just like know that it's come from many different, no, we can't do that. It's too extreme. Okay. It's too much.
Extreme.
It's too extreme for you that, you know, people fight back and make changes for themselves. Like it's too much.
Too extreme.
To look at that. It's too much. And that's baloney.
It is baloney.
It's upsetting baloney.
Yeah.
It's toxic spirituality. It's just
toxic spirituality.
That's not. Did we do an episode on that? I feel like we
did.
did.
Yeah.
We probably talked about all this stuff, but it's important to repeat it.
Yes. We do touch on it in a lot of episodes. But like toxic spirituality, go back and listen to that. Go back and listen to Baneful Magic. Go back and listen to our extraterrestrials episode. We touch on it a lot in that one.
It's just important to repeat because, you know, people don't know this stuff.
Repeating now.
We're like nerdy and we know all these things and like we're in this world and like, you know, even if you're not, is my nipple out? No.
No,
even if you're not a witch or a magical practitioner or whatever, like you still need to watch out for these things because you might think like, I don't want you to think that magic's bad. I don't want you to demonize things that shouldn't be demonized. Like,
and also like,
I don't like it.
I don't want you to demonize parts of yourself just because they're not desirable.
Yeah. That's dangerous.
Like we all have things about ourselves that could be different, could be better. And the only way to work through whatever those things are is to admit that they exist and to take actionable steps to changing it, however you desire to change it. And these love and light spaces don't have room for you to address those parts of yourself. So you're not really getting better.
Yeah.
You're just ignoring the problem on a personal level, on a global level.
It's like using spirituality like alcoholics use alcohol.
Literally.
You're just addicted to the positive vibes or the goal of having a pure ascension. I'm making these terms up. I do not know if they're real. But you're numbing it. Either way, you're bypassing what you need to be paying attention to. You're numbing yourself with all this good feeling white supremacy fairy dust, TM. And I'm going to copyright that and put it in a bottle and just like sell it. It's so stupid. Can you imagine? That would be funny, actually. You like troll everybody. Trickster thoughts. Sorry, I'm having a dialogue. Like, and then I could do that.
And put like a copy, when you ship it, you put like a copy of like Asada in there.
Yeah.
And like Karl Marx.
Yes. Oh my God, that would be so meta. That makes my little trickster brain very happy. And Laura's heart grew 3 sizes. Loretta, sorry, that's my name now. Whatever. I'm adjusting, okay, to my transition. Yeah. Now I forgot what I was saying. But like it's like the pill. You're like taking a pill and you just forget. It's really scary because it's not a thing that you ingest physically or like you can hold and look at. Like it's
psychological.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and like when I teach my clients to work with affirmations, something I always remind them is like affirmations don't work if you only say them once. You have to take them like an herbal remedy or medicine or like a new skincare routine. It has to be every day, a few times a day for at least 30 days. And if you are online ingesting this type of rhetoric over and over again, every day, a few times a day, for multiple days, it becomes a part of you, whether you realize it or not.
It does.
And you got to be careful because it takes time to undo it as well.
It does. And it affects the choices you make.
Absolutely.
Like speaking out about something that you don't, or speaking up for yourself. Like it affects your choices in ways that you may not even realize. It's absolute. That's a really good point. And it's just the nature of how we consume information. Like, yeah, it's.
I can't remember what I was doing, but last year, and a few other practitioners, I've heard them say the same, but like we are going to see a lot of people who have taken up space in the witchy and spiritual worlds having their come home to Jesus this year. We're going to see it a lot. And I mean, it's already started. Like this one person whose account I really enjoyed, who made like funny tarot memes. It was like the tower and it said the dildo of life rarely comes lubed. I'm like, that's hilarious.
That's great. We love a dildo.
That is hilarious.
That's funny.
The tower is an unlubed dildo you weren't ready for.
It is.
Recently denounced all things occult, says he's returned to the Catholic Church, but he doesn't acknowledge the Pope as the Pope. He's like taken it way back, like pre-Vatican II, way back when like women had to veil and things were only in Latin and the priest faces away from the audience and only faces the altar the whole time. And like he's gone to the extreme.
Yeah.
And it's because he actually left. Here's the tea. He actually left the seminary where he was becoming a priest to pursue like Gnosticism and the occult, and then
had to experiment a little bit.
Found his way, but the pendulum swung way back.
I mean, it happens.
But
why?
People are like, "Are you going to refund us for our readings or what?"
For real. Everyone does things for different reasons. I understand that. Like there was a woman who had like a candle herb shop, like built a building. My friend was telling me about this, like built a whole sanctuary for herbs and like sold candles, like a full-time witch, like taught classes on herbalism.
Wow.
And all this shit. And then she went dark for like 3 or 4 months and then came back and was like, hey guys, I'm into the Jesus, the one and only Lord now, like blah blah blah, and I'm like, put all their on sale. And my friend was like, what? What?
Well, I
And
think
it was just like, I don't know if it's like seeing all the ugliness in the world makes you just want to turn your back on it.
I think that's exactly what
I
it
don't
is.
think it's a coincidence.
I think that's exactly what it is.
It's a way to be, like we said, unaccountable and neutral. And love and light is to escape, right? And it's like, it's a cowardly way to go but it's an easy way
Absolutely.
out, right? Like I don't think that's a coincidence.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like Doreen Virtue. Like Doreen Virtue has made some of the like best-selling oracle decks and written some of the best-selling psychic and spirituality books out there, like of all time. And then one day she was like, everything I've ever done was influenced by Satan. I embrace my Lord and Savior. Don't buy my stuff.
Wow.
And like Llewellyn's still out here like selling that like crazy.
She was
like,
kidding.
Please buy
signed
our
copies
Archangel's deck. Doreen.
What?
But like just denounced all of it one day.
Wow.
But I think you're right. It's
I
because
don't know, man.
authentic spirituality makes you come face to face with the ugliness that exists. And even if this world was perfect, there would be fucked up shit happening because we're humans and we're flawed and life is hard and we'd have to face it.
Yeah.
But true spirituality forces you to face it. And a lot of these love and lighters are like, it's not even ancestrally rooted. Like, this isn't a folk tradition. It's not rooted in people. It's not rooted in place. And if you're not rooted, what are you doing?
It's like born again Christians, kind of the same thing. I had a great uncle, my grandma's brother abandoned his family, his wife, went MIA for like 20 years. They found him in Florida.
Oh my God.
And he was like with a woman, and I don't know if they had adopted another kid at the time, but they went to visit him, my grandma and her sister, and something got brought up, and the wife was like, they mentioned his kids, and she was like, you have kids? And he has 4. They're like, yeah, he's got 4 of them. Like, and they were like, oh, he had a whole ass family. And his wife, his ex-wife he left and just started. Anyway, he was a born again Christian when they found him. Because what's the best way to just absolve all your sins and erase either the present or the past? Like, I know people have gone through trauma, find solace in that. And I understand that more than any of what I'm talking about. You know, if you have a very traumatic event, like, I get that.
Look, if being a Christian makes you a better human, I love it for
course.
you.
This is not all Christianity is bad.
Right.
Not at all.
But it is often used as a way to avoid responsibility.
We love Jesus.
We do, personally.
Like,
you
I really
know I'm
do.
obsessed with Mary.
We love Jesus. Like, it's funny that, you know, and this is more of a question for you, like, why don't people then, if they don't want to, I was thinking if they don't want to, why do they go full? Why don't they do some folk practices or magic that are centered around Catholicism or Christianity? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, why don't they it's so extreme. It's like, if you like to practice magic, why don't you like blend and mix and like sort of figure out your vibe? Like, I don't know.
I think it's because a lot of people, when they leave organized religion, specifically Christianity, they think that they want like freedom, like no rules, free ball it, which, okay.
Yeah.
But most folk traditions have and recognize protocol.
Right.
We have guidelines, we have standards, we have structures. And even if you are a solitary practitioner, if you're legitimately into your practice, you come up with your own standards and protocols. I always do this protection this way before I do this. I cast my circle this way. You create your own standards. And some folks, I think, will get interested in folk magic, folk spirituality, and get kind of turned off by the fact that there are new rules.
Right.
What do you mean I can't do whatever I want?
Right.
And so there's immediately this like rejection of that, and they try to do their own thing and just sort of free fall because they don't realize like the disciplines and standards are supportive, not oppressive in these spaces. So they turn back to the safety net of Christianity's rules and regulations. And the rules of Christianity as we know it now have nothing to do with the teachings of Jesus Christ. They have everything to do with really what started with like the Roman Catholic Church, right? Because Rome was the empire that murdered Jesus. And then when they realize all these Christians are uprising and they're really pissed, they're like, oh, we're going to adopt that. Wow. We're Christians now too. And now instead of making everybody believe in like the Roman pantheon, they're like, everybody has to be Christian now. And so they use that as a tool of the empire to either assimilate or murder people. Yeah. And I don't remember where I started with this, but here we are in a history lesson.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Because like Christ was a rebel, right? He was like, F these taxes, F these merchants, F this empire. I'm going to hang out with the sluts, the whores, the lepers, the like unwed mothers. That's my These are my people. Denounce the rich. Give all of your money to the poor. I'm fucking Mary Magdalene. She's my sugar mama. Like, it's cute. And we love that. We love that. And Rome was like, oh, this is a problem because people are into this. So how do we weaponize it?
Yeah.
And use it to convert people. And
God,
also,
that
like,
sounds familiar.
when you think about the Middle Passage, like the transatlantic slave movement, all of the men driving those boats, they were good Christians. They were all good Christians doing the Lord's work.
Oh, the Lord's work.
By human trafficking African people into Turtle Island, the Caribbean, or even like Manifest Destiny. It's like, you know, that was a Christian thing.
Oh yeah,
too.
we were taught that was like the greatest thing ever. I don't remember which episode,
but we talk about that too. And it's just, I don't remember what the point is, people turn back to that because it gives them power without having to acknowledge responsibility.
And that's what Love and Light is. And that's what Love and Light sort of does to witchcraft. Because they're that Christianity has done to witchcraft. They know, they see, oh, people are actually more powerful when they practice this. Like they have a very like sense of self and like they can make shit happen. How can we twist it on its head and weaponize it, but still act like it's like the holidays. It's like Christmas.
Totally.
Or it's like taking the pagan holidays and like twisting them and making them their own, like Easter and all that stuff. Like,
and then capitalism swoops in and does it again. Yeah. And they're like, now we're actually going to make money off of it. Before we used it to convert you, now we're going to use it to charge you.
It's a very similar parallel to what I see. And that's sort of what is the grossest to me as like someone who considers themselves a witch. Like,
and, you know, like I wish there was more incentive to do better. Yeah. And to do differently. And that's the thing I think that scares me the most. Because Love and Light, puritanical Christianity, these practices keep people in power through oppression, through starvation, through unhousing people, through genocide. And they've continued to stay in power for hundreds and hundreds of years. What incentive do folks have to do better? And like that scares me. Yeah. That scares me.
Yeah. It is scary.
And that's, I don't know, something I pray about a lot is like, I really hope people decide to care about more than just themselves.
Yeah. I think people are. I think
a lot of us do, but I think that like the people who are still in power.
No, like that's
Nancy
hard.
Pelosi is not going to have a spiritual awakening.
It's very like Scrooged. You know, it's very like, can the ghosts of your
past, the ghosts of Christmas past come through?
That's why that story's so great. Is because like this evil person is changed
His reckoning. Yeah.
And he does that not by going love and light. He does that by looking at hard shit, like
Hard
the ghost
shit.
of Christmas past.
Oh, yeah. And then the ghost of Christmas, they like scare the
They
out of
scare
him.
you should be scared
Effective.
shitless
Yeah.
of becoming titties like that. Sorry,
Yeah.
I thought my titty was popping out. For those of you not watching, like that, you should
There's a
be
theme.
scared. That's why that story is so
Good.
good. It's a great story.
I know.
But I think the thread has been pulled to where the wizard behind the curtain is being, especially with what's happening right now with like Israel and all this stuff. Like, I have learned so much about the past of just how that state was set up and all these things. And I'm like, God,
This is bad.
and they just keep going and going and going. And you're like, oh my God. And like everything that's going on in like the rest of the world, like Congo and like everything
Yep, it's all
we're just
connected.
like, liberation. Like, what the hell? This should not be happening. At least people are like more informed
Yes.
about that.
I do feel like more people are waking up. And
Yeah.
I hope that
Yeah.
the ripple effect continues.
Yeah.
And more people who aren't afraid to acknowledge the difficult stuff, the uncomfortable stuff, move into positions of leadership.
Yeah. It's just,
So anyways, vote on Tuesday. Oh, this is going to come out after.
oh yay.
Just kidding, Los Angeles. Vote in November. I don't know for who, y'all.
Sure, for real.
I don't know. I don't know.
We're not endorsing
Yeah,
anyone.
well, Lord, help us help each other.
Yes. But to reel it back.
But okay, your local elections though
Yeah.
are a great way to like actually experience some change within your community.
Yeah.
And when it starts within your district or your city or your state, that's when things can influence change on a greater scale. So like look up who your city councilmen are, your assembly people are, your Congress people are, because I do believe we can make changes in that way. We have a drag queen running in District 14.
We do.
Maybe a girl. Yes.
Amazing.
I know.
Amazing. And also, like, change happens when you look at yourself.
Yes.
If you reflect on beyond that, yes, and even go even deeper, the change is you. Your discernment is discipline, right? Like, you need to get that in order, especially, we say it all the time, but like, especially now.
Yes.
And finding like your heart, like what are you here for? What do you believe in?
Who are you accountable
Who are you
to?
accountable to? What, if you're a white person, accepting that you have privilege, accepting that the world is not what you thought it was, and things have been hidden from you too, and you have been manipulated.
We've all been lied to.
We've all been, and to understand and to talk to people that think differently than you, like in a good way, like people
Yes.
that make friends that aren't other white people, and like just pay attention and talk to other white people about stuff. I say that all the time, but like it's our responsibility if you understand what's, if you hear something, say something.
Yeah.
Truly, like. It makes a difference. If you're a person that can communicate, especially in an effective way, and like change, like be the ghost of Christmas present, like change someone's heart and mind, and go watch plays and musicals and like things that teach you lessons about like empathy, like our empathy episode. Like
Plato was against plays and theater and drama because he said it inspired too much like thought within the people.
It does.
And then they fight against what's wrong. And so you're absolutely right. Engage in imaginative and creative things.
absolutely. even just, you don't, doing it for yourself, like learn how to dance. Like
Wicked is coming back to the
Wicked
Pantages.
is coming back. Ooh, Wicked. Yeah, like, yeah, that's what I would say
Yeah.
to people.
Actually, I love that this is coming up because,
Wicked?
well, no, I'm kind of annoyed that it's coming to the Pantages because it wasn't. So we like have orchestrated this whole take the kids to New York to see Wicked thing. And now that we've paid for everything,
New York.
that is why we're going to New York. And so now that we've paid for everything,
Oh my God.
they're like, by the way, it's going to be down the street at the Pantages like tomorrow. It's too late now.
Wow.
But this idea of like, who are we accountable to, I think is really helpful when it comes to discovering our moral compass, our center that guides us no matter what type of spirituality we practice. And it's been something that's been coming up a lot with like my client work. And so I didn't mean to like make this an advertisement, but I have a class coming up in April. It's going to be released on Earth Day.
What is it called?
And I'm not going to tell you what it's called.
What?
It's just a little teaser.
Secret.
It's a secret, but keep your eyes peeled because that is coming. And I'm sure I'll include a discount for binders who are interested.
Cool. I love that.
Yes.
Wow. Thank you for offering that.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. We should just do ASMR. Should we do an ASMR episode?
Yeah, we should just do that and talk and sort of just
Welcome to NPR.
exist. Welcome to Third Eye Bind. I'm Loretta Wong, and today, is that ASMR? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's ASMR.
I think that's really quiet. So now we're going to say goodbye to you.
Thank you so
ASMR.
much.
Thank you so much for listening to Third Eye Bind.
Be sure to leave us a message on the Third Eye line. Bye.
It's ringing now. I'm going to go pick up the phone. Ring, ring. Thank you so much for listening. You can follow the podcast at Third Eye Bind Pod on Instagram. There, submit your questions via the Third Eye line by sending us a voice message or text DM. The show is available wherever you listen to podcasts and for you to watch on YouTube. Get early access to episodes and even monthly one-on-one sessions with us by joining our Patreon. Find us at patreon.com/thirdeyebind. Third Eye Bind is produced and edited by Mike Realm. Hosted by Caitlin Grania and Loretta Wong. Music by Mike Realm. Set design by Loretta Wong. You can find Loretta on Instagram at LadyMoonCo and Caitlin at Caitlin.Grania.